The James Webb Space Telescope has already amazed scientists and the public with its breathtaking infrared images of distant galaxies, stars at the moment of birth, and exoplanets orbiting alien suns. But one unexpected mission, a brief observation of Mercury, the innermost planet in the solar system, has sparked controversy, silence, and sudden government intervention. Observing Mercury was not originally part of Webb's plan. For a long time, the planet was considered too close to the Sun and too familiar to be of interest to a telescope designed to study objects billions of light years from Earth. However, when Webb finally turned its mirror toward Mercury, the discoveries were so shocking that within days, NASA first shut down the data stream and then, according to rumors, suspended the telescope's entire deep space operation. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for new updates. The Webb telescope turned its gaze to Mercury during a short observation window, officially announced as a calibration test. At least, that's how it was presented to the public. Scientists were interested in testing how the telescope's instruments would cope with extreme solar radiation and bright planetary surfaces. However, internal documents later revealed that some researchers already suspected something strange was going on. For many years, previous missions such as Messenger had recorded anomalies on Mercury, but these were usually attributed to sensor errors or poorly understood magnetic activity. But what Webb recorded was impossible to ignore. Its infrared instruments, capable of detecting the thermal signature of an exoplanet's atmosphere from tens of light years away, began to record anomalies on the night side of Mercury, where temperatures were supposed to drop to deadly lows. However, the data showed local heat sources forming geometric patterns. Symmetry in nature, especially in such extreme conditions, is extremely rare. Triangular grids, rectangular contours, and unusually high concentrations of metal compounds formed stable structures beneath the planet's crust. These signals resembled artificial structures or underground structures, and the thermal activity suggested that they were not abandoned. As Webb continued to collect data, he recorded short but repetitive energy pulses at frequencies resembling artificial signals. These were not random emissions. They pulsed with mathematical precision. At first, scientists thought it might be reflected solar radiation or cosmic background, but the rhythm of the signals remained stable, and they originated from fixed points. Even stranger, the signals intensified when Mercury was in certain positions relative to Earth and the Sun, suggesting possible synchronization. Internal discussions at NASA and the European Space Agency became frantic. The data was irrefutable. Some engineers and astrophysicists suggested the existence of ancient extraterrestrial technology embedded in Mercury, the remnants of some primitive civilization. Others put forward the idea that the planet was being used as an observation point or energy hub. Both theories were extremely dangerous in terms of their implications. Their disclosure could not only completely change our understanding of space, but also undermine decades of carefully constructed scientific theories and data. A few days after the initial discoveries, access to Webb's data servers was restricted. International research teams that had previously had free access were blocked. This was followed by a closed briefing, attended by high-ranking officials from NASA, the U.S. Department of Defense, and several intelligence agencies. Then, something unexpected happened. The Webb telescope was suspended, citing a system recalibration and a technical glitch in the data processing algorithms. Astronomers and journalists who had been following every operation of the telescope suddenly found themselves in an information vacuum. The flow of data stopped. Planned observations of distant galaxies were postponed indefinitely. The eye of the telescope, recently opened to the universe, went dark. The scientific community and online communities exploded with speculation. The coincidence of events seemed too convenient. Scientists who hinted at anomalies on Mercury were quickly silenced. Some mysteriously resigned. Others were transferred to unrelated departments. The deeper they dug, the more obvious it became. Something had been done that could overturn not only astronomy, but also the perception of human history. If artificial structures really exist beneath the surface of Mercury, a number of questions arise. Who built them? Why Mercury? Are they part of a larger infrastructure within the solar system that humanity is only beginning to discover? Mercury has always been considered a dead planet, geologically interesting, but devoid of biological processes. However, it may now hold evidence of deliberate design. Its extreme conditions, hellish heat on one side and icy darkness on the other, could have served as a natural barrier to exploration. Perhaps this was part of the design. The very idea of discovering non-human technology on the planet closest to the Sun radically changes our understanding of space. What if Mercury isn't the only body hiding secrets? Mars has long featured in theories of ancient civilizations, and Jupiter and Saturn's icy moons are being searched for microbial life. But Mercury hasn't been of much interest to anyone until now. Webb's infrared system may have lifted a veil that should never have been lifted, at least not now. NASA's immediate response, stopping the data stream, suspending observations, and closing access, only added fuel to the fire. Why shut down the most advanced telescope in history just when it is making the discovery of the century? Official statements were full of empty excuses. System maintenance, software reconfiguration, calibration checks. But none of this explained why information related to Mercury was being suppressed. Some researchers have hypothesized that Mercury is linked to ancient warnings or myths that have survived for centuries in encrypted stories. The idea that ancient civilizations on Earth could have known about the secrets of other planets was previously considered science fiction. But after Webb's brief glimpse of Mercury, such ideas no longer seem far-fetched. If Webb really did discover extraterrestrial engineering activity, the next logical question is it still active today? The recorded energy pulses are not artifacts of the past, but active signals. This could mean that the systems are operating in real time, autonomously, or even consciously. Are they watching us, or waiting for a signal? Or perhaps the US government's intervention is not just an attempt to conceal information, but a step toward a military or strategic response. There are unconfirmed reports that NASA is accelerating the development of new probes to drill into Mercury's surface. These missions, if they exist, are most likely being conducted in complete secrecy, without press releases, television broadcasts, or public reports. The goal is to confirm Webb's discoveries and assess the potential threat or benefit. Meanwhile, independent scientists have begun reviewing old data from Mercury. Light reflections, magnetic deviations, and seismic simulations have begun to take on new meaning. Everything pointed to the planet hiding something complex right in front of us, and only the Webb telescope was able to lift the veil. The sudden shutdown of the telescope sparked a wider conversation. If access to data can be controlled in this way, how objective is our picture of the universe? The incident undermined trust in official space agencies. Independent observatories and amateur astronomers began to band together in search of the truth. Although none of them had the power of Webb, they pointed their telescopes at Mercury. The mystery of Mercury turned from an academic interest into a geopolitical and philosophical puzzle. Because if Webb really saw traces of intelligent design, then humanity is not alone. Worse, it is being watched. Perhaps we had violated foreign territory. And perhaps Webb's shutdown was not only related to what he saw, but also to what he could see beyond. What if Mercury was just the first domino? What if there is a network of ancient objects in the solar system, and Webb accidentally discovered a map or a relay station? From the government's point of view, this is not just a matter of panic. It is a question of global balance. Whoever gains access to these technologies first will gain power beyond any military arsenal. Weeks and months passed. NASA's silence remained unbroken. No new images, no reports, only silence. But those who saw at least part of the original data could not forget. They continued to discuss it in closed forums, share fragments of images, and try to piece together the mystery hidden beneath Mercury's scorching surface. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about NASA's concealment of Mercury's secrets after the Webb telescope was shut down. Your opinion is important to us. See you next time.